Welcome to a muzzled chat. Now I'm amped. I'm actually fired up, kind of blood boiling, upset due to the information I'm getting regarding Lance here that has put 19 years into the Air Force, made staff sergeant, and was willing to pay the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of all of our freedoms, on behalf of our flag, on behalf of our country, and the tyranny, the sheer abuse of power that he experienced it's just blown my mind. I've actually had a hard time compiling as to what direction, how we're going to go with this conversation here today. But the reality of it is we do not need to hit it out of the park. Why? He recently put over 7 hours, I believe, on a podcast right here on the Forgotten Soldiers. John over there's doing a fantastic job breaking up, segmenting out, and labeling all the bits and pieces because there's a lot going on with Lance in this situation. He's got this viral footage that has gone out. As far as I'm concerned, a lot of men in uniform wrongfully attacking Lance. And there's a lot to go over behind it all. So anyway, with that, I welcome you, Lance, to Unmuzzled Chat. I'm excited to dive in as much as we can with the slotted time we have here today. I am honored to have you on this platform and excited to hear what you got to say, man. How you doing?
Thank you so much. And I wrote myself a note here so I don't forget. I almost forgot, but I saw it. I need to say my view, or these are my views and my views alone, and not the views of the Air Force and the Department of Defense. And of course, my leaders and commanders, entirely mine. And now I'm ready to rock.
Right on. Well, with that being said, why don't you go ahead and pull up this viral footage just so if one listener happened not to see it, they'll know what we're talking about. But from there, we can really go into the depths that led up to this and whatever you see fit. I really want to turn the wheel over to you here today.
Okay, perfect. All right, here we go.
Unbelievable.
Stop resisting. Wait, let me hang up. I need to hang up right now. I got it. Here, get your hang up the legs. I need to hang up. I'm going for his left arm. Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
Disgrace. 6 soldiers there forcing detaining senior airmen for refusing the so-called China virus vaccine, forcing him to take it. That scene is emblematic of the Democrats' vision for all of us here in the United States. Government forcing you to do what they say you need to do. This man was put up for a court-martial for rejecting the jab. He went on trial, and he won. Joins me now, United States Air Force Senior Airman Lance Castle, along with retired Marine Staff Sergeant and Military Attorney Dan Conway. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here and serving our nation in uniform. Airman Castle, explain to us what we just saw in that video.
Yes, sir. Hey, thank you for having me on.
Okay, there you go. So funny. I'm wearing the same shirt, and I haven't worn that shirt since then, and that was like April. That's hilarious. I didn't even realize that.
No, that's awesome. Now we know it's the authentic you. It's proof. There's no body double. Wow. That is unbelievable.
And then it goes on. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this video goes on for 4 more minutes, but I could explain it more now, even better, which I will. My lawyer talks about it. Here's my lawyer just a little bit.
We could add we could add endless links to the episode.
Oh, heck yeah. And his name is Dan Conway, amazing litigator, mitigator in court. He's lethal. I have all the court-martial footage or audio recordings on my YouTube channel. And for anyone that listens that truly wants to learn and listen and just figure out what's really going on, you can hear it. You don't have to be any defense attorney yourself or have any experience. You can just hear the other side of their tones, of their responses, of their delays, right? Like their contradictions. And this guy, he gets them good. Here is a little bit.
And obedience to orders. But yeah, there can be causes of action in some circumstances.
Airman cancel.
Yeah, anyway, there's that video. And like you said, people can go view this if they want.
Yeah, that'd be great to have all them links in there so people, can view at their own leisure.
Yeah. I'm trying to close out some links here now. Now that we got some listeners, right, that are tuned in, you mind if I read a text message that I sent to my wing commander literally today? I would say it was probably about 2 hours ago. And then after that, we could get into whatever questions you have and how we got to this text message literally from today.
Yeah, that would be great. If you aren't going to be doing any screen share for the time being, let's go back to normal. And oh no, you're going to go over the text actually on the screen share. Okay, let's do it.
I'm prepared.
Let's do it.
I'll just read it right here. Let's see here. So this is the reason why I texted him is today also, I just received my CDE results, which is a command directed evaluation. And these are the 3 pages out of the 7 pages or out of the 6 pages that it says here, because this is the good stuff. And I highlighted it for my commander right now because the whole last month of June, how hard they were gunning for me, trying to make me come back. I mean, like they gave me orders to come back to work to do this. It looks, lawful on paper, but when you take all the stuff that has happened and all the freaking extenuating circumstances and mitigating factors, like that is a highly unlawful order that I could give countless reasons as to why.
Wow.
And I don't know why they didn't just wait for these results, because I knew it would be severe. And then we could go over these too, the results, but I have those too on a different tab. But here we go. My wing commander, which is also the base commander of this whole Cannon Air Force Base in Clovis, New Mexico, I tell him this: Colonel Bergen, good afternoon. UN Colonel Churchill, who is the group commander for the mission support group, I said, you and Colonel Churchill will be absolutely held accountable for this. Respectfully, you have treated me since mid-April as if I am one to be trifled with. How sorely you are mistaken. I am prepared for any criminal scare tactic that you have next up your sleeve, sir. I will always be on the lookout for you. I am dedicating the next 5 years of my life to getting full and absolute accountability for you. I do not fear you. You will need to kill me to silence me. But with everyone already aware of the unfolding story, it would easily point back to you, which I'm sure you are aware. I look forward to what you will try and challenge me with for July. I will send this text message out to the entire Department of Defense, along with everything I have, to include every news organization and podcast out there is. Colonel Jeremy Bergen, you are now my main priority. Number 2 through 50 will come second to you. Number 2 through the 50th person, when it goes over 50, actually. Everything I have mentioned will be lawful, legal, amicable, and peaceful. If security forces or Clovis Police Department apprehends me, I will go compliantly and eagerly await my trial. Everything, where am I at? While working with my defense team, of the 10 charges you try and make stick, I will not harm a single person, and again, I will absolutely not cower and flee. I dream about you, sir. Oh crap, there's my address right there. Oh, well, it will be my greatest honor to actually meet you one day and to look you in your eyes. I long for it, Wing Commander. And I gave him my address, which he already knows. I said I'll be waiting, and that's my name. But I'll be out of here anyway. Hopefully, if my MEB has been processed and approved. So now I'm just waiting to get out of here, man. While on AWOL status, I'm literally on AWOL status right now due to him putting me in it.
Wow.
Yeah, it gets crazy. And here's a quick little screen share of my next paycheck coming up. I looked it up today. So here's my there's my paycheck. So it's legit. It's legit. $0.00. So It's not a joke here. Yeah. So he's done everything he can. He's threatening me with more jail time, I guess, or no pay. He knows I have a son and
Unbelievable.
wife. And yeah, it's fiance. There's nothing he can do at this point to scare me.
How is your son's a newborn, right?
Yeah, well, he was a newborn when he was born, obviously. In jail. When I was in jail, I couldn't go see him because my other commander
Unbelievable.
denied it. But he's one now. He's 1 and 1 month. Yeah.
Wow. Now, for some of the listeners, I'd imagine they would want to know, like, what really kicked all this off. It does seem a couple different things after talking with John, and he's gone through the real depth. They put you in you're an active man, like you belong in a whole different department than John described they put you in for whatever reason. But it seems like all that may have even happened due to your stance anti this shot. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you knew the illegal mandate and orders regarding the shot, and it just from there, it seems like they had it out for you. They weaponized the system and conspiring against you, specifically being a total abuse of power. And there's proof to that, Lance. In my eyes, the simple fact you were faced with a court martial with 7 different charges, yet you beat them. That in from an outsider view, I didn't take a freaking rocket scientist to connect the dots that you, my friend, there was a conspiring against you. Why? Why would that be? It's because you fulfilled your oath, because you didn't want to conform to their dictatorship and their illegal mandates and orders.
Exactly, man. Exactly. You get it. You definitely get it. Yeah, I don't know if your question there was rhetorical or not, but I was prepared to tell you why. You want me to tell you why now?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. There it is right there in the first red. For anyone to see. I'll read the red. And the supervisor from his previous work center believes he may be an insider threat and that he has been potentially radicalized by an anti-US government group in the wake of his refusal to take the COVID vaccine.
Wow.
In the wake of his refusal is synonymous with as a consequence of, like obviously that's the reason right there for people that don't know what that means in the wake. But as a consequence of me not getting the vaccine, I've been declared an insider threat. And this was when was this? January 15th, 2023, like a year and a half ago. They already hit me with that, right?
Wow.
Yeah. Like I could talk about an hour on this document alone. And this yellow right here, this is the flight commander writing this. He says, I have instructed the in-flight personnel, and then my squadron in the Air Force, they have flights, and I'm part of M-flight. I don't know how many flights there are, probably 4 or something like that. So just think of it as like a section of the whole squadron, maybe around, I don't know, 80 people at that point, 90 people here. Of the M flight, the whole squadron is like 350 people. But this guy says, I have instructed the M flight personnel not to meet with him one-on-one, to avoid all interactions with him, and under no circumstances to go to his home. I believe Sergeant Castle exhibits almost every indicator of an insider threat and should not have access. Yeah. So the key word there is indicator. And then if you want to boost that up, almost every indicator, right? Let's see here. I have a document somewhere over here of talking about what an insider threat is and how egregious them calling me that was. Okay. I've never showed this before either. So this is great that I'm showing this here. So let's look at this document real quick from the U.S. Department of Justice, the NIJ, National Institute of Justice, right? Risk factors and indicators associated with radicalization to terrorism in the United States. What research sponsored by the National Institute of Justice tells us. Allison G. Smith, PhD, an article in 2018. This is how in depth I've gone. 2 little words, right? Every indicator. And back then I just Googled what are indicators of an insider threat? Like, what's their criteria? I just thought of that. This came up back then, and I've been holding on to this along with tons of other documents that I have. I already did some pre-highlighting. A risk factor increases the likelihood that a certain outcome will occur. Okay, a risk factor. Whereas an indicator, which is what I am apparently, generally helps to assess whether it is occurring. So they completely jumped a risk factor, completely just skipped it
Wow.
and called me an indicator. And then here's
Wow.
some potential risk factors. Again, I'm above this. I'm an indicator, right? But these are risk factors associated. Yeah, this is crazy. Associated with engaging or attempting to engage in terrorism among
Wow.
both group-based and lone actor terrorists in the United States. Okay, you have to have a criminal history or violence. Obviously, criminal history, have been involved with a gang or delinquent peers, terrorists, like no brainers, right? Look, unemployed,
Wow.
psychological issues. Crazy, right? Scroll down just a little bit, and then we get this that I highlighted as well. Right there. In the most basic sense, a risk factor is something that increases the likelihood. So you have to graduate from risk factor to indicator, right? This paper focuses on risk factors and indicators associated with engaging or attempting to engage in terrorism. Am I lagging at all? It says my internet connection is unstable right now.
I mean, it's
Am
moving
I lagging a little
along.
bit?
It seems to be working decent. Just keep
Okay.
on going.
Okay. And then lastly, indicators, whereas risk factors may increase the likelihood that a certain outcome will occur, right? The likelihood. Indicators may help to assess whether it is occurring. So this one gets a brand new color right here. Whether it is occurring. Like, look how crazy I am now. Just doing all this research on my own. And this whole look, we're on page 3. And look how long, like this page, how many pages
Well,
are there?
you just already proved how
Yeah.
egregious their write-up was against you.
Yep.
It's nonsensical. It's actually very telling now on their end is to
Right.
like I cannot believe how
Right.
tyrannical, how evil, I don't even get as to how corrupted
Man, yeah.
our military, from the Air Force to the Army to the Marines. I mean,
Yeah.
all branches over this
Yep.
pandemic and
Exactly.
so many other things. Like, it's clear to me that evil it's targeted our military, knowing the importance of demoralizing and tearing down the strength and the infrastructure behind our military. It's essentially a slow overtaking and conquering of this country without firing a shot. And they got so many within ranks to comply just based on how it's all structured in my eyes. I
Yeah.
cannot believe it. It boils my blood.
Hard to believe, absolutely. Even it's still hard to believe that I just sent that text message to my damn wing commander. For people that don't know how the structure works in the Air Force that listen in on this, like
Yeah.
think of it as a little house. There's like maybe 2 or 3 groups on the base that are in charge of specific squadrons. And then
Yeah.
above those 3 groups, there's the wings above everything on that base. Yep. And then above each one has their own commander too. Squadron commanders, group commanders, wing commanders, or wing commander. This base you only have 1 wing commander per base. And now I'm at his level, and I've already went above him to his boss, which is the MAGCOM level, the AFSOC commander, Air Force Special Operations Command commander, who's in charge of other MAGCOMs. I
Wow.
went so far the chain to I've emailed now the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, General Alvin, no response. I've also emailed the one under him, which is the AFSOC commander now. It used to be Lieutenant General Bauerfein, but I just found out that he just left. Like left me able to handle these guys, like didn't help me with anything. But the
Wow.
new guy, General Conley, 3-star General Conley, I should pull his picture up. Actually, I'm gonna do that right now. And his associate, 2-star General Sunkis.
Uh-huh.
I've emailed both of them because I CC them. Like I've emailed the whole base already. I've CC'd the entire base. I found each squadron. I've emailed everybody, and I could even show my emails. And I actually do want to during this podcast.
Wow.
And no one has I haven't, other than you and the podcast and airmen that are seeing this that are messaging me, like, hey, we're supporting you, keep the fight up, blah blah blah. Leadership wise,
Right.
Oh my God. I don't know what's happening, man.
Gosh. Well, to your point, I can't imagine the pressures, like the psychological warfare when the whole system seems to be against someone and they're trying to make like have them slip up at any corner. And I mean, there's obviously so much that went into your story, from refusing that shot to the court martial to being locked up. We don't need to, we can go into whatever details you see fit. You're obviously will continue on the track you're going, but you ended up spending how many days in a cell?
Six, yeah, 66.
66
66.
days.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
isn't, I can't even, I want people to imagine being 19 years in, Air Force, like, hoorah, all excited. This pandemic happens. You're, nope. And now your whole career's on the line. Everything you've sacrificed and signed up for, and now even potentially your freedoms, your life, and you find yourself in basically solitary confinement
Yeah.
for
No, it was
66
solitary. Yeah.
for
It was
66.
solitary.
That, no,
Yeah.
you're great. That is scary. That can break even strong men. So
Yeah.
it's hard to grasp. It really is.
Yeah. And what's worse too is I was supposed to be going to a TTM, which is a team treatment meeting for mental health, to check my mental health actually with all my leaders.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I was on my way to that 1 o'clock meeting, but it was an ambush. It was a ploy to have me come on to base to arrest me, which was proven in
Really?
court. Yeah. So let's say
Wow.
you're the judge. Let's say you're a judge of my case, right? Like defend the defendants and the prosecution team, and you're hearing all this, right? You're hearing everything that I'm saying that my defense team destroyed the government with, straight slaughterhouse. And let's say you're the judge. Well, I would hope that you would think that the government side needs to prove what we're saying is false. They couldn't, though. They couldn't. We have audio recordings. We got text messages. We got subpoenaed text messages from also flight leadership level that they were setting
Wow.
me up to going to appointments, that which I also have here ready to show, knowing I wouldn't go to the certain appointments and meetings due to my supervisor setting me up. I knew he was. I had no proof of it at the time. I knew he was, though, and I refused to see him. And it was so egregious that they even changed, right? They changed my supervisor,
Wow.
acknowledging my concerns. And they admit this in court, but they never told me that they did. And it's because they didn't, which means
Right.
they lied in court, which is perjury. I don't even know why they would tell the judge that they did that, because they sound ridiculous that nobody told me that it happened. I'm done. I'm so past the point of trying to play it safe. Like maybe I'm on my last leg of playing it safe, but I name drop now, and I'll do it right now. Lieutenant Colonel Enrique Vasquez was the commander. He's changed my supervisor from Master Sergeant Carey to someone else, but no one knows who, again, because I wasn't. He gets asked in court, why didn't he tell me that? And he says that he actually, the only time he takes accountability, he says that he should have, and that they should have, and that they missed it. He put his head down and he said it like this: we must have missed that one. Like he tries to play this puppy dog act, and it's disgusting because like he doesn't pull it off. A grown man doesn't play as a commander. You can't play that card. Master Sergeant Carey says that he didn't tell me because I never came back to work, and that he didn't have the chance to. Sergeant Crispin,
Wow.
who was a first sergeant, the acting first sergeant, Tech Sergeant Crispin, he says that he thought leaders or others would. And then Captain Liam Lawrence, who's a flight commander at the time, says that he also thought my section leadership would. Like, just these are the people at the top of the squadron, given
Yeah.
like such elementary answers like that, So all the charges that I have that I'm going to file on them soon when I'm out, perjury would definitely be one, on top of
Wow.
another perjury charge that I have proof of either my commander or the government or both, right? I don't know, but I'm alleging here that they took information out of my PIF, which is my personal information file, took information out, which is tampering with the evidence, gave it to the judge
Wow.
and my defense team, like pick and choosing what they want to show, right? When they can't do that. And we
And
don't even
wow.
know that. I don't even know that until after court months later when I'm laying on my couch, one right back there. And I was like, let me double check the PIF that I have from the court, from the PIF I had before court, from my new PIF after the court. And I bump all three of those together. And there's stuff pulled out. There's a document pulled out of a LOR. And they hide it to
Wow.
make it look, so the judge can't catch it for double jeopardy is why I would think. But who cares? It was out and it's put back in. After the court, it was put back in. If they would have just left it out, I don't even like, okay, it would have been looked at easily as like, it got out. I don't know. Is that coincidental? Sure. But the fact that it's back in, okay,
Right.
that is 100% malicious and nefarious.
Tampering.
Straight up.
Tampering
man.
with evidence. What is so you suppose at this point they obviously egregiously overstepped. They
Yep.
abused their power, right? They
Yep.
treated someone horrifically wrongfully. You suppose now it's just a game of covering their tracks and not having any accountability.
That would have, okay, they would need to be tactical and strategic to even have that mindset. So I don't know, dude. I don't think, like I said, they never thought that it would get to this level. They always thought that I would fold, which tells me
Right.
that no one ever has challenged them in their
Right.
entire career. I have audio of a 30-year colonel. He wants to tell me that he's hitting his 30-year mark, which I also have ready to play. And he tells me that he knows what right is and what I'm doing is not right, as in refusing to go to work because I'm being harassed again, which is unlawful. And
Yeah.
I don't tolerate it, man. And he's telling me that's not right. But the orders that he gives me bumped with what my CD has now been said.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, these guys are destroyed. They're gonna be destroyed, man, in court. Yeah. Yeah, they've never done any due diligence to think what happens if Castle keeps this fight a month from now, 2 months from now. Even now, they're probably like, thinking, I'm gonna just fold. That's how arrogant and miscalculated they are.
Wow.
Completely. So yeah, and so I would think no. No. And I didn't even say anything, but I'm trying to pull it up. They gave me 4 plea bargains for court throughout
Really?
it. Yeah, and I want to show one of them. These are documents I've never shown before.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're my 7th podcast now that I've done, thankfully.
You've been
Thank
on
you so much.
Newsmax. You've been on. Wow. So that's
Yeah.
good. I'm glad to hear that so many are opening up to having you on.
That was my first one too. My first ever. That's not a podcast, right? But that's my first ever. I don't know, what do you call it? News interview. Because the second one after that was first podcast, and then the third podcast. I mean, second podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Oh wow.
So that was pretty challenging to go on. Like it was nerve wracking because I've never done it before, but thankfully I did. Right? Because look, my story's getting out, and
yeah, 100%.
Appreciative of people like you trying to help. And after this is all done for me, I want to do this too and help. What can I do to help? Kind of thing,
100%. Yeah.
So
that we need more of that in this world. If we were to support one another, then we just see past evil's division tactics and keep the eye on the prize. Once we, in my mind, end corruption in this country for a start, we'll be able to iron out our differences. It's only due to evil and its deployed effective tactics that's keeping this circus going. But whether we right the ship or not, Lance, it's irrelevant. It's important that we stand for truth. It's important that we, have a spine and support one another in the process. So it's our honor, whatever we could do. Go ahead, continue. I need to refrain from talking because I know you got a lot of information to go over.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna blast through these. So this is my plea bargain. Okay. Well, I guess maybe I should show my charges real fast. Okay, here are my charges. Yeah. So I already highlighted it. This is desertion, but
it does. Yeah, you're not screen sharing right now.
Oh crap.
You're good.
That's my bad. There we go.
Now it's going. Okay, there we go.
So here's charge number 1, specification number 1. I plead not guilty. The findings in court was not guilty, and that's how it's going to go down the whole way. People can obviously pause it, right? But this one's desertion from 1 March to 10 April 2023, without authority and with intent to remain away therefrom permanently, absent himself from his place to do. Okay, this got immediately lowered to AWOL because guess what? I was on leave throughout 1 March to 10 March, like around that time frame. Now, how does the government not know this? They have my leave records. How
Wow.
do they not know this, right? And to have desertion stick, it has to be beyond 30 days, and you have to prove intent. There's no more preponderance of the evidence, which is hearsay, which is whatever a commander deems, whatever he wants. That's hearsay. That's preponderance of the evidence. They could literally throw you in jail because of preponderance of the evidence. In court, they have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. If we went jury, which we didn't, and it was judge alone, but if we would have went jury, if any jury member had any doubt, like any doubt, then that jury member, what he's supposed to do, he or she's supposed to do, is not provide a guilty finding because they have doubt.
Right.
So they would have to
Right.
go innocent. That's So this guy immediately pushed to AWOL because I was already on leave. Like, how dare they even charge me? Freaking while I'm
Unbelievable.
on leave. This is so again, right? Are they negligent and not knowing what they're truly doing, or is it nefarious? And they just think so little of the judge, like she's not gonna catch it herself. Oh my gosh. And to be a judge, you have to have a vast amount of experience as a prior attorney, obviously, either defense or prosecution, right? Like ridiculous, man. But anyway, that was a big one. That
Wow.
was a big one. And dude, yeah, I got acquitted of this due to everything. Like all these little puzzle pieces I'm telling you about, puzzle piece.
Yeah.
The judge heard 100 of them. There's no way that she thought it was necessary to find me guilty of why I did what I did. But here's the craziest part. After this court martial, months later, I have audio recordings because I record everything now, thankfully. Without
Good
audio
for you.
recordings, I am destroyed. I am destroyed. They would just be able to lie. I have audio recordings of my commanders, Lieutenant Colonel Enrique Vasquez and Colonel Roche, first name Barry, both telling my therapist in a TTM with me present that we're recording. My therapist was in on it as well, and I was in Texas. It was a one-party consent state to include New Mexico, so we're fine. And they both tell her in their own way, paraphrasing, that they didn't agree with the judge's verdict. They didn't say it like that, but they're implying like you didn't go to work. Like, yeah, you got acquitted, but you didn't go to work. Okay, what does that mean? Like it's crazy, right? That would be the equivalent of you committed a murder because someone broke into your house and tried to kill you and your family, and you, in self-defense of you and your family, you kill the burglar or murderer who's trying to kill you, and you kill him. But then, like, you go back to work and everyone's like, "Yeah, you got acquitted, and it was self-defense, but you still murdered someone, and you're a murderer. So I'm gonna treat you like a murderer, right? Like, who are they to do that? They're
Yeah.
nobody.
Wow.
Yeah. So that would be the exact equivalent of how I'm perceived, aka retaliated against, man. And this is why, again, I'm so ballsy with that text message to Colonel Bergen Jeremy, because I
Man,
believe,
what did
dude.
they have against you? I get that there's different
Oh,
personality types. And John did hit that nail on the head, it seemed, where they put you in a place you more so didn't belong. You were more the active. Where were you stationed? Not an office, but
okay, yeah. Oh, like assigned. You mean assigned? Yeah. Yeah.
assigned.
Well, they moved me 8 times. I don't know if this is answering your question, but they moved me 8 different sections now throughout the base.
But it's all
Well,
the
I
same
say throughout
base.
yeah, I shouldn't. No, it's not throughout the base. I take that back. Throughout the same group, the group
Okay.
level now, squadron and the group level. So it is the same group. That's what that's the correct way to say that. The
Okay.
same group, yeah. But within the squadron, before my court martial, before I was arrested, they moved me 4 times, four
Wow.
freaking times. Let's see if I can recite this. For anyone listening, they were moving to the 26 STS, a completely different squadron, actually. Okay. And then they moved me back. So that's 2. And then I later found out that it was due to me not being vaccinated. And I have proof of that from the notes of the interview that my ADCs have from the commanders. Like
Wow.
they're telling her. but they told me when I was moved that it was due to or it was due to manning. Like they needed me to go fill a spot in due to their limited manning, right? And I needed a fresh new start. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, and then when they moved me back, it was due to manning was okay. So that again, I could get into an hour with that alone, but they gave me a bad EPR for that. They said I did a bad job at the 26 STS, which is a Rescue and Combat Control Special Operation Tactics Squadron. I have a meeting with the commander on that base that I recorded. I mean, dang, on that squad from that squadron, who was after Colonel Hodges. But anyway, I recorded them, and they all said there was no issues with me. I'm accused of like selling the gear when there's no proof of that, but they're just blaming me on missing gear now. I
Wow.
have people calling me, they just going hardcore on me when there's no proof that I recorded everything. But
When
yeah,
there's
so
that much turmoil and that
yeah,
much shenanigans happening between like that close proximity of individuals, wouldn't a fresh start actually, in fact, be sending you somewhere else entirely, like to a new base?
right.
That would be kind of a wise thing to do. What do you
Especially after,
suppose?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
especially after the craziness that's taken place. Why would they keep you there?
The answer is extremely simple once you think about that question in depthly. Why? Right? They're not dumb. I refuse to believe that they're dumb. I refuse to believe that. I believe that they're highly nefarious, malicious, corrupt, evil, vile, man. Just so why would they keep me here? Why would any evil, corrupt, like in the old days, a king, right? A king would keep their one of their
Trying to
lieutenants, whatever.
trying to
It's
break you.
yeah, exactly to bash him, to retaliate against him, to get to make amends, I guess. Like they want their payback, revenge.
How
Yeah,
much
man.
time do you got left?
Well,
What are things looking like?
yep. Well, I've been in for 19 years and May, June, 2 months, 19 years and 2 months. So the 20-year mark is game over, like retirement. But
Yeah,
I'm undergoing an MEB, so which means a
yeah,
medical evaluation board to outprocess me out of the Air
yeah,
Force. Why? Because the doctor has determined that I'm unfit for continued service, which I don't agree with. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't disagree with that. Okay, like get me out, but I want full retirement and I want some disability, like
right. Well, because you
legally.
just went through hell.
Right.
You just it literally, like, from the psychological, I mean, solitary confinement, from even the mental abuse you've been dealing with, and all these attacks and the abuse of power, but also the physical attack. I mean, my gosh, didn't even that leave you with like a dislocated shoulder and actual bodily injury?
Yeah, not dislocated. My shoulder was torn in two at the rotator cuff. So I had
Wow.
two tears in my shoulder that I didn't even know at the time. But how I can prove that is
Yeah.
the medical or the paramedics that oversaw the cell extraction, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but they evaluated me right after the cell extraction, and on their notes that I have
Yeah.
so much evidence. They even state that my shoulder hurts. Like patient
Yeah.
states that his shoulder hurts. I had a cut, freaking laceration in my nose. Like all their notes like that.
Yeah.
Shoulder pain and high blood pressure, blah blah blah. And then if you look at my medical records from that before that cell extraction, I've never complained of shoulder pain, right? So like
Yeah.
they sit together if they're trying to say that I'm trying to claim false claims here. And then in my knee, I had a torn MCL, a second one on my knee that they
Wow.
did. Yeah. The first one wasn't them. That was me running at night a year
I
ago,
can
but
only I can only imagine, like, we try putting on a facade as men and being unbreakable and tough, but I can only imagine the trauma, the PTSD that this would cause anybody, even the strongest among us, because you're getting isolated entirely, and it's
yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
It's wrong, and it's horrific to see, and it really blows my mind because the proof is with the outcomes regarding these court martials and just everything. It is entirely abuse of power. How is this continuing? We need to ramp up civilian voices to get to the bottom of all of this, because it's really sad to see. I mean, it's no secret. Like, our Bill of Rights is being trampled upon. Our Constitution in this country is being trampled upon. Our constitutional republic is being trampled on, and liberty and justice for all is being trampled upon. We have POWs right here on American soil from January 6th. I even view the days you spent in there as a POW. Like, this is insanity to me. Like, prove me wrong, you know? Man, I want you to hold your head up high. And you mentioned pre-interview even requesting Bible. It seemed like they were denying you that.
Yeah.
But I know through my personal experience, my man, that God is our greatest champion. You know, and if you continue to seek that relation, you'll continue to persevere, because he'll give you that clarity. He'll give you that strength, as he will all of us. To anyone that would doubt that, I mean, the creator of it all, are you freaking kidding me? That's easy. That's easy. He's there. And he loves us all on an individual level we can't even comprehend. But when you tap into that love and you even experience a sliver and your cup is overflowing with that sliver, bro, it just becomes so much fuel. Anyway, keep going, brother. Expose whatever you feel impressed to speak about.
Yeah, to talk a little bit about what you just said. Yeah, I'm doing a deep dive study on Proverbs and Ecclesiastes right now, but Proverbs specifically, it talks tons about wicked rulers, wicked kings, wicked corruption, which is like the commander day level now, you know, obviously.
Yeah.
So just reading what it says about all that wickedness, like it's already been predicted, you know, like this is what is supposed to happen. So yeah,
in these days, no doubt.
So there's a verse in Ecclesiastes. I'm trying to see if I can find it. I thought it was 3:15, 3:16, but I'm just gonna try and spitball it. I can't find it right now. But it said something that the justice system is corrupt or something like that.
Okay.
So that's why I didn't take plea bargains and I was willing to roll the dice in court, because like I accepted. I had in my mind already convinced that the judge is going to be corrupt, right? Thankfully, she was not. But I was already okay with the outcome, I guess. It's just I was okay with the outcome. Like, if this is what it takes to just get my day in court, even if it doesn't go my way, right? Like, that's one of the most scariest things, though, man. If a judge is just straight up corrupt, like if my commanders were able to pay her $100,000, and it's all hypothetical, and she would be like, "Yeah, well, hell yeah, give me that money, and I'll give him a guilty verdict, and we'll send him to jail for 5 years." How? God, I hope.
Yeah.
I know there's judges out.
You know what? You and I mean, totally different paths, totally different situations. But here in America, I lost faith in our justice system dating back to 2017, when I actually was abused by some officers, taken down. And it was an accumulative head trauma, because not even a year prior, I was hospitalized getting sutures in my head from a freak accident, slipping on concrete. But I was assaulted and taken down and hospitalized yet again. This became very neurologically impairing, and I was pretty battered. I had, injuries all over. But anyway, long story short, the big firms wouldn't even take the case because, quote, the system there protects itself. All the judges, it's like the good old boy system. They view all their officers like their brothers and family. So like, it'd be different if I was a black man or if I was a woman, is what they stated. But anyway, I got someone to take the case. But needless to say, tens of thousands of dollars later, 7+ years later, brother, I didn't even get my day in court. The footage ended up being deleted due to a video system update. Years later, as we ramped up the pressure, they realized, oh, wow, if we don't produce this footage, they subpoenaed it in the right time period. Like, we're actually in hotter water, not turning it over. Oh, lo and behold, they found the footage. So now they
Yeah.
fork out the footage, and now they had the tenacity to lay claims that they had the footage the whole time, that we lied, that, and we have the emails that they stated, oh, we no longer unfortunately have the footage due to a security updated system. We have all of that. But to the world and news, like they're painting us out. So anyway, it's crazy. I didn't even get my day in court. And if you were to watch the footage, it is clear as day. I instigated nothing. They instigated everything, and there was no reason for the action they took. It's just clearly this very situation, an abuse of power. So I am very passionate about a justice system that works to the T, and no judge should be immune to freaking messing up, because at that point they could be corruptible, they could take payment, they could what have you. No, everyone deserves their day in court. I'm totally getting derailed, and I apologize, but I just wanted to share that injustices, you're not alone, unfortunately, and hopefully by airing that will help unite forces around the globe, or the states, to champion situations like this.
Right. Love it.
It's
That was good.
like it's time for freaking accountability. It's time for things to operate as they were designed. Period.
Yeah.
We'll continue on, my brother. What else
Yeah.
you want to go over?
Yeah. So I found that quote.
Okay.
It's Ecclesiastes 3:16. So I was almost there. I think I said 3:15. But
Okay.
so 3:16, the NIV version says, and I saw something else under the sun. In the place of judgment, wickedness was there. In the place of justice, wickedness was there.
Wow.
And then 17 says, I said to myself, God will bring into judgment both the righteous and the wicked, for there will be a time for every activity and time to judge every deed, right? So I actually read that in jail when I was in it, and it was calming. That's how it's supposed to be, because we all have free will, right? And a lot of people don't understand that having faith, being a Christian, which is what I am, like they all think, like the ones that aren't, including my dad, who I hope watches this, they all think that just because you get saved or baptized, that nothing but prosperity is supposed to happen. And like my dad's biggest excuse for not wanting to even give God a chance is look who's the president, look at the disgusting, filthy government. Well, no kidding, but he doesn't understand that we all have free will, and
free
God
will.
can't
Exactly.
or chooses not to, because that would
Yes.
also be intervening with the free will of us choosing him. He wants us to choose him.
That's it. You just hit the nail on the head. That's in my eyes, the purpose of being here. You can choose Lucifer and potential some mortal material gains, and lustful, sinful. There's a lot of colorful, seemingly fun things. But when you grow wise, you see how destructive all of that is. Or to choose the God of love and creator of it all. Like that's our choice. And it is horrific to see, with the allowance of free agency. I mean, it boils my blood, obviously, to see children and the needless suffering in that regard, and especially women. But when you can't allow what is taking place to at least seek that relation. It's interesting. God's love, like he's weeping, I swear, with the whole well, he's biblically destroyed the world before because he got so angry. He couldn't hold back.
Yeah.
I believe if he didn't make that promise and give us the glorious rainbow, which is being trampled upon to this day, I believe today to be worse than Sodom and Gomorrah, and he would have ended this corrupt. It seems like America is not the Americans, but the actual corruption and the way it's being ran. We have become the destructive nation, it seems, to this world we live in today. And that's where I'm like, my fellow Americans, the time is now to rule out this corruption. Otherwise, in a way, mortally, potentially spiritually, what price might we pay if we continually seek selfish, self-serving paths?
Yep.
It's crucial that we get right with God, in my eyes, more than ever before. I understand how people like your dad can take that type of stance. I get it. It's painful. It shows he has a heart. But like him, I've closed that door in my life to my detriment to God.
Yeah. Hey, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. You're not going to believe this. My dad just texted me, and we haven't texted for like freaking long time, dude. I'm not even joking.
Like how long? How long?
2 minutes ago.
How long have you not talked to your dad?
Oh, well, we haven't talked. We haven't talked for freaking like 7 years. I don't think I've seen him in like maybe freaking 15 years.
Text him in 7 years?
No, text. We've texted like a year ago and stuff, on and off, but he goes in and out. Like, I think he's bipolar. And I don't mean to say that like disrespectfully to him, but he has his moods, you know.
Well, we all have our quirks. We all have our things to work through. You know, we all do. That's wild.
Yeah. That's freaking crazy. That's crazy, dude.
Right as we're talking about him, right as we're talking about God, I mean,
and
like cut him some grace. You know, everyone in their own time. That we can't force anything on anybody, you know, and nor should we want to. And all we can really do is express, you know, our experience. And, you know, my greatest breakthroughs, my greatest blessings in this life solely relate to seeking that relation. And once I felt God's love for me and for all his children, man, it just, there was this shift in my life where I started valuing my spiritual life and death over my mortal life and death. Because, dude, we're visiting here. We're visiting to these cowards, to these people that are just willing to sell their souls for material things. You fool. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
When did you get, how long have you been a Christian, or what is your faith? Christianity denomination?
Yeah. Oh, it's solely, yes, Christ, my Lord and Savior. I believe the Bible to be true. Now, I don't subscribe to any religion right now. I just don't. I view the majority of them, pretty much all of them, well, the Christian-based ones, to be blessing most lives. However, mankind is defective. We all are. So I caution anyone going into any religion, any particular church, gear yourself up. Pay attention to the fruit of the Spirit. And I view these religions and these churches like vehicles. They could propel you further, faster in the right direction, but they also could crash. They take a wrong turn, and you could get lost, right? So be leery of the Spirit, and do not, like, you don't want to put faith in the pastor and in the church in a wrong sense where it's false idolship. That's why I view relationship over religion always. always. And as if you're in tune with that, then I feel you're safe to go to any church, even lay claim to a church, get involved in these churches, because you then, like you, if something nefarious is happening, you'll stand up, you'll stand your ground. They'll either understand and support you or they'll kick you out. But no matter what, it's not going to break you. And more importantly, it's not going to break your faith because you put it in the right place and it's in God directly. So that's where I'm at with it. You look at the historical facts or evidence, and the evidence to me, I mean, what other religion out there has, the Son of God in the flesh, serving up miracles, leading by example, showing the way, that he's the light, he's the narrow path, he's crucified, and then there's over 500 witnesses to his resurrection. What other religion has that for me to consider? It's clear. It's salvation through Jesus.
Wow. Well said. Yeah.
Welcome to a Muzzled Chat. Now, this is part 2 with Lance. Now, I must admit, we've had a lot of hurdles right here on Muzzled Chat. More hurdles than we have faced thus far. I'm not going to get into all the crazy specifics of it, but do you know what that tells me? It tells me we are on to something good, doing good. Evil is effectively showing up. The devil is trying to hinder our impact, bringing people to God, bringing people together, ruling out a lot of evil's corruption. Evil fears us uniting more than we even know. God, I have all these notes. Like, why? Because this podcast matters to me. And it really should matter to every single American alive and breathing today. Once again, we thought we had it bad as civilians during the pandemic. Lance himself has said it, that he believes his life to be under threat. Literally. As we speak. For what? We must rally behind this man. We must rally behind our troops. And it's all one and in the same. The more we can move the needle there, the more we'll move the needle here on behalf of our freedoms as well. Let's just go over some of the things he's covered, because I want us to really let the why sink in. This man faced 66 days of solitary confinement. Why? He was denied some of the most basic human civil rights. Even having a Bible, initially in solitary confinement, being one of them. He was denied to be there for his son's birth because they deemed him a flight risk. This is beyond egregious. This is evil. This is beyond wrong. Let's continue. He was attacked. He was bound to a chair in his uniform cut from his body. And they didn't even do a cavity search. The indecency, the flat out corruption. I'm literally having a hard time forming the words. I'm on the verge of screaming and crying for this man and so many other service members that dealt with pressures, that are dealing with things to this day we can't even imagine. They got the boot, all their pensions, retirements, benefits, gone. with decades of service behind them. It is egregiously unacceptable, the outcomes, and we must seek restitution for these heroes. He faced a court martial, facing 7 charges, and won. Really says it all. He has been falsely accused of too many things to list. Just trying to scare him, just trying to break him. Why? He was denied religious exemption to an illegal order, an illegal mandate. Why? Why is this man faced with all of this? Simply because he denied an illegal criminal mandate. It's been proven. All they had was emergency use shots. You cannot enforce that into anybody's arm. And they did the switcheroo as though it was the FDA approved. Couldn't be further from the truth. Men like Lance fulfilled their oath and stood their ground. And he was the only one. And I forget the terminology of his platoon or group of men around him. The only one. So he's been ostracized. He's been targeted. He's been marked. And the whole military infrastructure around him has been weaponized against this singular man. It's criminal. It's an abuse of power. What a waste of time. What a waste of resources. What a freaking circus. We ought to be livid as citizens that that's what's happening behind closed doors with our military service members. And it's egregiously unacceptable. I know we're repeating a lot of things and a lot of words here, but the reality of it is, until we fix things, until we get accountability and have things structured more legitimately, our work isn't done. There is more we must all do. We must get to the bottom of this. It truly breaks my heart to see what our service members have gone through over this freaking pandemic. The jab is now being classified a bioweapon. And they tried forcing it on people. And now those individuals, they're the problems. They get the boot. They get court-martialed. They get solitary confinement. They get mentally and physically abused, emotionally and spiritually as well. It's no secret now. Our military's weak. It's vulnerable. It weeded out so many truly strong members that could see what was happening here. They knew in their gut this was wrong. Now with such low recruits, they're trying to allow, and I believe they even are, allowing illegals to come join the service and obtain citizenship. What better way to infiltrate a country? Unbelievable. Why are they allowing this or trying to allow this across the board? Well, it's simple. They, all branches of military, freaking screwed up so badly that they've lost the trust of the American people. It's to a point. Like, who's going to enlist when you don't know who you serve? What, in fact, you'd be serving. And that, my friends, is a big problem. We must rule out the corruption. Evil has been so effective and so cunning on so many different levels. Frankly, I'm not seeing enough growth, not just to this platform, but across the nation. I really had hoped to get this episode out sooner, but with all the issues, we're doing the best we can. But things are getting so insane, so bad. Just yesterday, the runner-up for the president of the United States of America was shot. It's a time in America that we unify. We must see the gravity of this very situation. How many times has it been said from the opposition, from the controlled opposition, the controlled talking heads, the puppets? There is a two-tiered system to this world we live in. Once again, call it what you want. Whether deep state, cabal, elite, Illuminati, Freemason, APAC, secret societies. Fact is, there's a two-tiered system. And their puppets continually say, at any cost, no matter what, etc., etc., etc. Fact is, we cannot put this burden on any one individual's shoulders. The only way out of this, the only way to secure a future for us all, is to get involved and get united and set down all the smoke and the mirrors and all these differences. The evil has effectively polarized topics to where we can't even communicate with each other anymore. Are we too far gone? From what we've said many times on this platform, the World Economic Forum, they've stated humans are now hackable animals. Have we effectively been hacked to our own detriment that we can't even resolve these issues? It seems to me that too many Americans are self-serving and too self-absorbed. Doesn't matter here. We're committed and we're going to do whatever we can. And we're going to continually try to do whatever we can, whether this ship gets saved from sinking or not. If we can't start setting down and committing enough time to this war that's being waged on us, every single man has a role to play. Who am I to say what their role is specifically? All I can see is that getting the messages like this out are crucial. I know there's steps we can all take each and every day, viable, easy steps we could take that could help shift the tide. Simply by our views, by our clicks, by our likes, and by our dollar bills. It's a pivotal moment in history. I just hope people seize the moment to their betterment. That's enough from me. Let's dive into the episode. I really love the conversation with Lance and how we continued talking about God. For whatever reason, if in fact that just isn't resonating with you, with where you're at in life at this moment, I would hope futuristically your heart gets softened. But that being said, if you must skip past it, skip past it. Because he continues with his story. He continues going into the specifics of the sheer abuse of power he's gone through. Gosh, I hope this ignites a spark within all of us to seek solutions and resolve these issues. It's clear. It's salvation through Jesus.
Wow. Well said, yeah. And then with Muslim, not trying to talk bad about them, but that was written. The Quran was written after, way after, the Bible, right? Like what was written before the Torah? Nothing. So yeah, if you just think of it like that too, all these other denominations, like what's that guy's name? Joseph something. I don't remember What's that one
Oh,
called?
Joseph Smith.
Yeah, I see. It's good that I even know him. Like, yeah, he came out with his book after the Bible again, and they just add themselves to it. Man, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that group, I actually know quite a few uh Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they call it. Like, they separated the main body from Mormonism due to, there's, I guess, the way I see it, a lot of the spin-off Mormonisms, I guess, still practice polygamy even, but that has nothing to do with the main body of the church. So they separated and now are more Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And now I'm no expert in the field, but I do know quite a few individuals, lovely families, and they're doing great things, and they're really walking in the fruit of the spirit. But I could, just like anything, there's defects in just everything. I've often wondered, even researching more on that, but the reality I keep getting faced with my limited absorption abilities in this moment, there's more than enough right here in the Bible. I need not look further in this particular time. Now, when it feels right, if it feels right, I'm obviously going to keep mind to, like, any other things, because that's the thing. I view know-it-all syndrome, drawing a fine line in the sand as though the full truths of things in this life, to be one of the greatest character defects. Christ taught us to stay humble and meek as a child. And it really does seem, the more we know and figure out and draw nearer to God in the fruit of the Spirit, it's like we understand in our hearts more. In a sense, it's really hard to articulate, but it's like we know less through drawing near to him. It's that adage, the more we know, the less we know. It's just a beautiful pursuit. And just like anything in this life, just like the gym, seeking God, same thing, because we're so mortally flawed. It's a forever pursuit,
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, real fast, if my dad's watching this, I'll tell him that I love him on air, because I don't think I've ever told him in a while. But
That's beautiful, man.
you mind if I share a verse real fast?
Not at all. That'd be awesome.
Okay. Let's see here real fast, because I was thinking this one. And this is like one of the, other than Matthew 7:13-14 that talks about the narrow road and all that stuff, this one hit hard too. And I like to read this. Luke 12:49-56. Jesus causes division. I have come to set the world on fire, and I wish it were already burning. I have a terrible baptism of suffering ahead of me, and I am under a heavy burden until it is accomplished. Do you think I have come to bring peace to the earth? No, I have come to divide people against each other. From now on, families will be split apart, 3 in favor of me, and 2 against, or 2 in favor and 3 against. Father will be divided against son, and son against father, mother against daughter, and daughter against mother, and mother-in-law against daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Because again, a lot of people think that finding Jesus, finding Christ, is prosperity and stuff, but like, look, it says right there. And guess what? My dad and I were divided when I became a Christian. And yeah, he kind of persecuted me for it, because and I understand too, like you said too, I understand, because I didn't become a Christian until like 3.5 years ago, So like for the longest time, I fought it too, man. And then once you read it, and once you become corrigible, really, that you have to be open to it and be humble first, not that people that think they know everything and blah, 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 man, like you don't have a chance at reading the Bible, because you're not even open to it. You have to read it with an open heart, discern for yourself, and people like you and me that are standing up against tyranny, blatant tyranny, and then like that aren't that, or at least that are maybe atheists or don't have views of Jesus or whatnot. I would hope that they could think in the back of their heads, like people like us that aren't weak, and I would consider ourselves warriors for sure. What are we tricked with this? Like for that person listening who's vaccinated, and I don't even mean that as like disrespect at all. Like I would say there's 3 different types of people now: ones that didn't get vaccinated, ones that did get it but learn from it, right? Like learn
Yes.
from it.
Yes.
Yeah. But not only learn from it, trying to do something about it. Accountability,
Yes.
anything. Yeah. And then the ones
And then
that just the other ones, yeah.
with the other ones that evil has effectively instilled pride and ego so deep that they won't even allow, they can't even face the reflection in the mirror as to making such a grave mistake. And the information's overwhelming, but you kind of got to go out of your way now to keep a blind eye to the flood of information that's coming out that, hey, that wasn't good.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you just touched
Yep.
on some other profound things that, like, to the atheist, I challenge and state, because there was an amazing story I heard once. I'll try really shorten it up.
Okay.
You know what? We won't even go into the story. We'll just state some facts. I would ask the atheist, are you aware that on a single Harvard campus library, there are over 70 million titles? I mean, that's a lot of books. Most people would be like, no, I had no idea. But if they answered yes, it'd be like, oh, okay, great. Well, have you read them all? And then they'd be like, I mean, who really's read that many? I mean, that's a lot, right? But it captures a very powerful truth, because the atheist would more than likely answer no. If they're answering honestly, no, I have not, then the reply is simple, that I don't believe you to have the credibility to claim atheist at all.
Yeah.
At all. Why? Because you haven't done enough of your due diligence with the time you've been given here. One of the most profound truths I like honing in on, because it's extremely humbling, is that we're only visiting here. So to utilize the time we got to figure out the why is crucial. And you can't, like, it would be foolish to rule out God in this book that isn't a singular book. It's a multitude of books, historically proven time and time and time again. Even the Dead Sea Scrolls that were found, that were there was all this hype that was gonna disprove this book once and for all, and how defective it is, and how much truth got lost in translation. And then guess what happened? It died off. There was no media hype. Why? Because the actual findings, word for word, support this book. God would not allow his roadmap to be tainted. It is pure. You can bank your soul on this book. And I can say it with confidence, just through, and I'm no biblical scholar at all, and I'd consider myself even a baby Christian, and forever will be. We cannot fall prey to the lies and the things that are coming into our detriment, because the teachings in here, I mean, one simple truth is that if the world truly abided by this book, abided by Jesus's example, would the world not be an amazing place? Would it not? No locks on doors. Like, we wouldn't even have jobs per se, because we would be doing things on behalf of others, to where it would be a whole different economy, and it would be thriving, because we would have these technological advances without this two-tiered system that has been created in this world now. It's so clear in your very story, everything. It's biblical. It's a spiritual war. When you look, that's actually why I'm grateful now to be living here and now. My whole life, I felt like I was born in the wrong era, and I was better off slinging pistols or a battle axe or just something way back simplified. But I'm grateful to be here now, because I see we live in a blessed time. It's never been so clear, black and white. When you really dive in, these world leaders are demonic. They worship the devil. The projection of it all in their sacrifices and their worship and their symbolism and their Bohemian Grove and their secret societies, like it's all out there, man. So when you see the devil's face, when you see people selling their soul, isn't that proof? Doesn't that make you draw toward the light and the savior, like of everything? Like it's a very blessed time. People just got to humble themselves to be like, wow, you know what? I don't know it all. And let me look at all these individuals that are glowing amongst all their trials. Look at all of them. And that's what I love to capture. I want to have more of them testimonies on here too, because that becomes definitive proof. And the more people that come on will obviously speak light and maybe plant that seed within the hardened individuals, because this world's hard and we harden ourselves due to that. But to humble ourselves and see that and want to achieve that enlightenment, like these people aren't making it up. They've been blessed by God. And so let's not lie to ourselves anymore, right? It's cutesy time is over. We're freaking adults. Let's start seeing reality like it actually is around us, even though evil's fighting hard to defalsify that whatever reality. Anyway, I'm so sorry. I just really went on a rant there, my man.
No, that's great, man. Hey, anyone who's still here, listen, when you post this, they're seeking. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
We're 100. I was just stating we're an hour and 16 minutes. We still got time, brother. So yeah, what do you want to share?
What's your pup's name back there real fast?
Oh, this here's Bolt, and then I got Moose over here on the ground.
Oh, okay. How old is Bolt?
He's about 9 months now.
Oh, wow, okay. Is he full pit bull or half?
His mother was pit, his dad's pit, half mastiff. So we're wondering. Yeah, we're wondering how big. His dad's a big boy. Oh, you got one over there?
I'm gonna show you my big boy. Come here.
Oh man, he's got sleepy feet.
Yeah. So this is Little Bear. I never introduced him before. Right there.
Hi. Wow.
Yeah, he's
gorgeous pup. I like
4.
how he's wearing that tuxedo.
Yeah.
All proper. Just give him a little bow tie, man. He's set.
Yeah, I know, right? And he's like 115 pounds right now. Monster.
Wow.
Go. Yeah.
Gorgeous dog.
I wanted to share this real fast, and then this is it because these are my favorite ones right here. And again, if my dad's still watching, this is a great opportunity right here. All right, so let's see. This is one of my favorites. Ephesians 5:11. I'm sure you've heard of this one. Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. It is shameful even to mention what the disobedient in secret. So this is what I almost like live off of, which is why I'm exposing my entire freaking command right now, dude. And they're gonna have to silence me by killing me for me to stop.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, well, let's hope it doesn't come to that with enough people supporting what you're up against and what you're going to expose. That's the sad thing about evil in this world. It doesn't play fair when we're trying to go about things and legalize legitimate ways. Evil will just, as you could see. But the reality of it is, in numbers, that's our greatest protection, and evil fears that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Matthew 7:13-14. So when I first became a Christian and read this for the first time, this one hit me hard. It says, enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, aka hell, and many enter through it, right? Which first of all makes sense. But
Mhm.
small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, which is heaven, and only a
Wow.
few find it. Look how challenging this part is. Only a few find it. And that would make
Wow.
sense again with how evil I've seen the world to be. And you, right? You've seen it to be evil. How we know it to be evil because it's supposed to become even more evil before Jesus comes back. Like, how are people like, yeah, I don't care. I'm gonna watch Netflix. F this. I don't know.
I don't get that. Yeah. You bring up such a good point. See, this shows
Thank you.
me your heart, your spiritual maturity too, that you would even set down the important things you came on to freaking expose to
Mm.
now shift into God. Like,
Yeah.
is
In my
there
defense, I
anything
did.
more
Yeah.
important?
I did not prepare for that though. We started talking
No.
about it and I started pulling
Yeah.
up here to share it. Yeah, but I definitely did not prepare to share that. I didn't even think to do that until again, you and I just went off on the best tangent ever, right? Jesus Christ.
Oh,
So
well,
yeah.
Billy recently, he's a still active Navy officer. I love on cast. I was just listening to him and I was chatting with him that if Americans would only even set down, yeah, that Netflix or anything for like just a couple hours a day, just a couple. I know individuals say too busy for this, but when it comes to their salvation, when it comes to actually securing a real future with our country, if you don't
Yeah.
have that time as Americans, you make that time. Like
Exactly.
with
Yeah.
the direction the country's in, and with, I believe, for men especially, as they really dive into this, they'll realize that, like
Yeah.
Jesus, with the money exchangers, or is that what you call them? That it is a table flipping moment in time,
Oh yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
for righteous anger regarding the corruption
Yeah.
and exposing it and gaining back ground. And if we don't, we're gonna get what we get, and we're gonna deserve every bit of it. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really just does boil down to choice. Are we willing to accept things as they are, or be accountable and do what we can? I just know in masses, like in numbers, all of this easily, everything you're bringing to the forefront, easily fixed.
Mm.
On the bigger stages, easily fixed. We just we gotta unite.
I agree. Absolutely. Which is what you're doing right now, man. You're doing it. You're helping spread the word. I'm grateful to be on your show. This is how we do it, right? Like, how else? How
Right.
else? We have to voice our opinion.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like with each new podcast, I like going over stuff I've never gone over before.
Yeah.
So I want to show this super fast. Well, I'll just show this real fast because I just saw it. So we tried to redact this and everything. So when I was in confinement, my ADC, I had two ADCs and one civilian counsel. But this one here, she asked Lieutenant Colonel Vasquez, and again, I've never said that, I've never shown this before. On Thursday, like she's asking him this. On Thursday, May 25, we discussed your denial of Castle's limited release to be present for the birth of his son. In that discussion, you stated that you were denying your request or the request because of the nature of the charges, the confining being at high risk to freaking flee, man. The PCRO hearing result from a neutral and detached commander, lack of knowledge of a specific plan for the hospital if released with an escort, and despite feeling bad that he will likely miss the birth of his son and did not feel it was appropriate given all the circumstances that they frickin' created and lied and misled. And man, that's so disgusting. If you feel I missed something that we spoke out of, right? So she's asking him like emo traffic for him to confirm it, and all he says is Sarah, that is correct. So like him. There he is right there, his name and stuff. But anyway, I missed the birth of my son due to him not even allowing me to go see him because okay, I'm gonna hit this, watch this. So he says
That
the
is
confining, yeah,
insanity.
Well, watch when I tie this. The confinee being at high risk to flee, right? Like I'm just going to take a chance and split, right? So that was May 25th or whatever. So we go to this one. Okay. This is from April 15th when it was now told to me that I will remain in jail for 66 days in totality after this. So what this was like day 4. I had my hearing day 5 or
Wow.
whatever. But this is the pretrial reviewing officer, Lieutenant Colonel Colin LaFavor. Okay, watch what he says at the end here. You're not gonna believe this. Okay, he says here, I'm gonna even highlight this for everybody. Though he may not be a flight risk, I'm just gonna freaking highlight that. I find the risk to safety of others as a primary reason for continuing pretrial confinement. And what he's referring to is the knee dislocation. Apparently, I dislocated someone's knee, right? When they changed it
Oh,
to me
wow.
striking it, that the cop ended up testifying that I never even touched his knee, let alone him even being aware that I was being charged for his knee being dislocated. Okay. There
Wait,
was
hold the
that.
phone. So there's a write up that they're trying to have you rambunctiously attacking individuals, but the individual that they're
Mhm.
trying to pin you attacking is on a whole nother note stating, no, this gentleman didn't touch me.
Right. Which makes me think that, I mean, how is that even able to happen? That the only way that's able to happen is if they never question him. So his knee did dislocate, but I didn't touch it, and his knee
Right.
dislocates often
They're
from a prior.
conspiring against you. What the
Yeah.
what?
I've also never showed this. This was during the pre-trial confinement reviewing officer, and so I've been to court 3 times within this whole thing. The first one was from the magistrate, which is the PCRO, who determines if you can be released from jail and await your court martial with like a anklet, right, or house arrest or whatever. And then the second one is to see if you can be released. And this is like 2 months later or 2.5 months later. And then the other one was the big one where I'm gonna be charged or not. But this guy right here, Tech Sergeant Norris, I've never showed this. This was during the trial. He even said this stuff. So let me see. I need to show this right here in yellow. All right. These 2 incidences caused okay. Counsel was cleared twice by mental health professionals and by medical doctors for confinement. Like cleared just means they ask you, are you going to kill yourself? And if you say no, you're cleared. So these guys are, dude, they're so criminal, man. I hate
What?
that. Cleared. Tech Sergeant Norris explained that Castle was non-compliant with officers forcing a cell extraction and was non-compliant during the mandatory strip search. So that's a whole damn different thing too. The whole strip
Oh
search,
my
7
gosh,
guys.
unbelievable.
Yeah, the first day, 7 guys tied me to a chair, restrained me to a chair, cut my damn uniform off, literally, until I was
Wow.
completely exposed. And the whole point of a cell extraction is to what? Check cavities for drugs or with paraphernalia or whatever. They don't even check my cavities. And I've stated before in other podcasts, I'm not mad that they didn't. But what was the point for it then if they didn't do that, right?
It's
These yeah.
demoralizing tactics. It's just
Yep. There
sheer
it is.
abuse of power. Yeah, that's
Yeah, man.
sickening. That just
Yeah.
shows literally who those individuals are.
Yeah.
And
And the
that's
Security Forces
horrific, man.
commander, yeah, Security Forces commander, I'm gonna say his name for the first time, Lieutenant Colonel Atkinson Adams. He's on notice. I will be coming after him legally. Like, see how I say legally when I say stuff like that? Like, I'm going to come after you legally. I say that intrinsically because I said that during the strip search, during
Mm,
the cell extraction. Like, but guess what? They say in court that I said I was coming after them, and they leave out legally. Like they all
mm.
say that they all conspired against me, and I think it'll even say in here. But what I really want to hit is this part. These 2 incidences caused multiple injuries to the confinement staff, a broken nose, cut hand. I have 19 of their witness reports. Not a mention of a cut hand is even in there. The broken nose was a deviated septum, and that was during the cell extraction that I was viewed as not guilty or deemed not guilty of that due to self-defense. Like this big old 6'3" monster was on my back and smothering me in a rear naked choke, and I couldn't breathe, right? So and when I punched him, you could clearly see my face is down, and I just swung up. Like it wasn't even intentional. It was I need to breathe
Wow.
kind of thing. And
Wow.
look at this
No
one.
kidding.
And a dislocated keen. I'm just this guy meant knee, but I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
Dislocated knee. Okay. Now, this guy who's reviewing this, I mean, it looks bad, right? It looks freaking bad. It looks like if I'm released, I'm going to cause some extreme misconduct. Castle's defense counsel asked if this was potentially due to PTSD. She shouldn't have asked that. Captain Tirado, who her and I are great. We have a good banter relationship, whatnot. But she shouldn't have asked that. She should have told him that and showed some damn diagnoses. Looking back at this, was like asked, who's she asking if I potentially do from an issue during his childhood, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Childhood experience which triggered these events. Yeah, anyone can pause it, but I'm trying to find that thing that I just mentioned here. Oh, this part's funny. Castle was extremely hostile, threatening, non-compliant, and required a restraint chair due to his size and advanced physical fitness. I mean, like big or anything, dude. Compared to them, I guess they're all out of shape, but it's
6
hilarious.
or however many. My gosh.
Right.
They're
Here
just
it is. Yeah, sorry. Here it is. Castle also he also testified that Castle made multiple statements during his first 24 hours in confinement to include my commander is going to pay. And then I did say that, but I said legally. And I was out for blood legally, like through the justice system. Look at me drama over this. I'm so upset.
wow.
Trash, man. Freaking trash. And like, look how long ago this was. April 14th, 2023. And it's been a year and a half almost. And it's fresh, it's still fresh in my head. And I'm coming, man. Legally. Coming legally. I've breezed through this with you. I'm not even going to read all this, but look, there are clear indicators to which we are trained on to look at for a potential active shooter. There's a clear motive in the situation that could end fatal for some individuals. So look, I'm declared an active shooter from this guy.
What?
Unlawfully. Yeah, no indications or anything. I mean, no proof. I'm going to just read a little bit. Concerning the issue with Castle, there have been concerns amongst the NCOs that have been involved with the situation. There are clear indicators, but he doesn't state the indicators, and no commander asks him, what are the indicators? We just, oh my gosh, like, I don't own any weapons or anything like that at that time. Like, what the heck? I don't have any weapons or guns at that time. Hint, 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 hint. If they try to bombard. All right, Xing out of that. And then guess what? This was the April. He signed this thing on April 4. Guess what was said about me before on April 3? Okay, right here, April 3. This one says that there has been an increased safety concern for engaging with Castle. I, Cleveland, am worried for my work centers and my family's safety. The longer the situation goes on and we engage in text messages, emails, or other communication, has led to a potential target on myself or the people around me. I want the record to show I am addressing my potential endangerment concern for the people around me, both family and coworkers. It has been stated. Okay, this one's a big one. It has been stated again by who? Like, no proof. It has been stated that there is a concern about Castle collecting names and targeting members who are in communication with leadership or who have crossed him. Let's go. Which is why they arrested him. It looks horrible, but guess that's so. I'm showing this because we just read the email from my commander saying that his greatest concern is me being a flight risk, which is why I can't go see my son's birth. Right, a flight risk. There was no
Unbelievable.
in that there was no assaultive stuff. And then this other commander says that I'm a flight, although not a flight risk, he finds the safety. Like, they just keep going back and forth, and I'm being ordered to come into work, man, constantly. I'm ordered to come into work, but like, you guys are viewing me as active shooter. Like, what? Oh my gosh. So, and everything, that's just like 5%, man, maybe even less. That's maybe even less. And I just breezed through this.
Whose coffee did you piss in, brother? This doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, I stood against my religious beliefs of not wanting to get the vaccine due to me believing it's highly immoral, and that's my conscience
Yes.
speaking.
Right.
And that would be violating my conscience, which is sin.
Good for
That's
you.
my, yeah. 1 Peter 3,
Unbelievable.
6, 1 Peter 3:16, Romans 14:23, 1 Timothy 4, 1-2, James, I think chapter 4:17 talks about that. You can't violate your conscience, and Timothy talks about not shipwrecking your faith. And I've said it a lot already on podcasts that I struggle with sin, the ones that are hard for me, like cussing sometimes, right? When I cuss, I know it's wrong and I apologize immediately and repent. And I'm trying, stuff like
Yeah.
that I have issues with. But the sins that
All
I
of
know
us.
I issue,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But this I don't have any issue with, so I'm gonna fight this till the death. Um, Again, this was his report of the whole thing. LaFavor, yeah, he said so right here. Okay, evidence. Here we go. The evidence presented during the hearing included. I just want to show this right here. My freaking PIF, and my PIF has over dude, is this 40 attachments, but it's over 200 pages at this point of supporting substantial evidence that they created and freaking made up, man. And this is what they're using always. My damn PIF that they refuse to remove. Prisoner observation reports and witness statements that are false and misleading and taken out of context. And look, he used a 48-hour memo and a 72-hour memo. So why that is important is because the 42-hour memo, well, this is a 48-hour memo. It's from this guy, the freaking old commander. Okay. So this is this is the old group commander. Again, this is the preponderance of evidence stuff. I, being a neutral and detached officer acting within 48 hours of imposition of confinement under military control, find adequate probable cause that the following offenses triable by court martials were committed, and that Lance Castle committed them. And here's what I committed. You ready for this? Desertion on or about 3 April to 10 April. First of all, that's not over 30 days. So, oh my gosh, dude, are they really this negligent and inept, or are they really just this evil and nefarious? Again, both are horrible. Horrible,
Wow.
right? So I'm saying that shouldn't even be desertion. That should be AWOL, but they want to go with desertion. The second one was disrespect towards a superior commission officer, which we need to get into. The other one's willfully disobeying his order to report to work. But again, I'm an active shooter, right? And all types of crap. But I need to report. This is ridiculous. And then the fifth one was assault charges that they tried saying I dislocated a member's knee. Additionally, I have reasonable grounds to believe continued pretrial confinement is necessary because it is foreseeable that the confinee will not appear at a pretrial hearing. I hired a civilian counsel. I turned down all their plea bargains, and they're just saying, yeah, I think he's a flight risk because he's not going to appear at his trial. That is literally the definition of arbitrary and capricious. These commanders are so unlawful, man. I'm
Wow.
gonna look at this. I want his name to be known. And you know what's crazy? This guy was my flight commander back in 2007, 2008 in Oklahoma City at Tinker Air Force Base. And we know each other. We know each other. And now he's a commander of the group here, or he was. Colonel Churchill now replaced him. Oh my gosh. And look, again, here's my favorite part out of all this highlighting. It says, and that lesser means of restriction would be inadequate to ensure the confinee's continued presence and maintain, here we go, the good order, discipline, morale, and safety of my unit/squadron. So they needed to keep me in jail for 66 days to ensure the good order, discipline, morale, and the safety of other people in the squadron. But now I'm sending base emails, CCing the entire squadron of their crimes. So how funny is that, man? That is so freaking sanctimonious at best, dude. Yeah, I'm upset with
Wow.
that one. Wow. I'm upset with that one for sure. Yeah, man. These are my charges. I know we're going through this. I'm just gonna blast through these ones. So, how is disrespectful to Vasquez was repeatedly interrupting him and also calling him a domestic threat. So those are two different freaking specifications, technically. Okay. Now he's saying I called him a domestic threat. I never did. And I thank goodness I had audio to back that up. that was
Wow.
was played in court, not fully because they cut it off, just to let him know, Vasquez know that we have the audio of it. And then they end up trying, like his prosecution tries to change of when I called him this apparently from February 6th during my commander's appearance with him to like March 31st or April 1st in an LOR. Like they jumped almost 2 months, which is just, again, the judge saw like, oh, look, I have the audio of me not calling him a domestic threat. And now they're trying to make it stick somewhere else. Like, how obvious is that?
I just don't get it. Just because you didn't join the club of the vaccinated,
No, 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 no. It's
now
because I was sorry. It was because I was the only person in the squadron that didn't join the club of not
you're
being
the
vaccinated.
only person in the squadron. So now you're getting completely ostracized. The whole
Yep.
system is being weaponized against you. Yeah, once again, this is a total
Blatant.
abuse of power, and this
Yeah.
is egregious behavior. It's like they're just time after time trying, literally lying. Like
Literally.
that's insane. I mean, all these charges, once again, what a double whammy.
Brazen
For
too. Look, the order brazen. Ostracism order, and no one puts up. I mean, no one does anything about it. Remember this one? I've instructed the M5 personnel not to meet with him one-on-one to avoid all interactions. So I'm supposed to go to work and like people are ordered to not talk to me? What in their insane mind do they think that's okay? And apparently I'm a criminal. Look, I'm a criminal conduct, accused of criminal conduct, and we didn't read all of this, but he has told other airmen right here that they are going to hell. Incorrect, out of context. And those three airmen I'm gonna say on the air is Senior Airman Forgy, first name Jet, Senior Airman Robinson, and Senior Airman Marmon. They could just talk to any of those guys. Now they have their names, and I'm sure they will tell me, no, we asked him about the Bible because I was like a brand new Christian then, and I was sharing Matthew 7, 13, 14. So I'm not saying they're going to hell. I'm saying we're all going to hell if we don't find Jesus when we die, which is the unforgivable sin, right? Again, they just swing whatever they want. I'm gonna breeze through all this crap. So they make this memo again. That's the same thing, but they take out the yellow. They take out the yellow. They take it out because they know it's bad. See, now it's gone. People can pause it and look. It's gone. As we continue, I have all combinations to safes, vaults, secure rooms that I have access to have been changed. So I need to be escorted around the freaking squadron, straight up ostracized like crazy. Currently, I do intend to discharge the individual, but he didn't. He just said he was gonna. It just gets worse and worse. This is document number 2. Document number 3, they try to edit it more because of how bad the other one was. It still says COVID, but people can pause and look and try to differentiate what's different. But the final 4th copy is this one, and this is the one I've gotten. And now, number 1, COVID is out. Number 2, the ostracism stuff is out. All this is like worded very carefully to make this guy seem less corrupt, less freaking corrupt, man. Oh my gosh. And this is it. I got a security termination statement. They pulled my clearance. Till this day, it's still pulled. And I refuse to sign this because what it says at the bottom is, oh, it's not zooming down. Sorry. There we go. Is because right here, it says the penalties prescribed for violations of these statutes, which would be this stuff right here: losing information related to national defense, failing to report to superiors the known loss of theft. I don't even know what they're talking about. Communicating classified information to an agent or representative of a foreign government, failing to deliver. Like, who knows what? I don't trust him, right? But they said that okay, the penalties prescribed for violations of these statutes through willful acts or gross negligence vary according to the statute. The circumstances and the information involved, they range in severity from a fine of not more than $2,500 to life imprisonment your signature on this form is your acknowledgement that you have been informed of the criminal statutes applicable to espionage, and the punishments provided for violations of these statutes. Yeah, so they could have killed me right here. Life imprisonment or death. I already read that part.
What?
So look at this. I'm not signing at this point. Are you joking? It says your signature on
What?
this form is your acknowledgement that you have been informed. No, I have not. Like, if
No.
you look at it, it says that I was supposed to be briefed on other stuff. Where does it say that? National defense, whatever. I can't.
What?
Right, man. It's so unbelievable, even to this day, that I go back and revisit this stuff, man.
Bro. Like,
Right here. Yeah, I have not. They didn't even circle it. Strike out inappropriate word. Received an oral security debrief. They haven't done anything for me, and they want me to sign this without even circling I have not. They didn't provide me any training up to this point of this. Like, this is some criminal stuff right here, man. Hypocritical, sanctimonious crap right here, dude. Yeah, unbelievable, right?
well, it seems as though you got all the receipts. Thank
Every
goodness
piece.
you got the recordings
Yep.
to support your truths. I know we're nearing our end time here. However, Lance, I want to let you know, to get this out, to get some freaking ripples, more ripples happening, I don't want it to end here. Meaning, as things continue, as you know, we even view this particular episode,
Yeah.
any things that profound things that weren't touched on or left out, or oh, we breezed through this, it didn't seem clear enough, we want to clarify some things, I'd welcome you back at any time. So
Okay.
good news, bad news, anything, just to continue spreading awareness on this, because I'd imagine that you're not the only one that has been completely
Right.
ostracized and villainized to this degree. Like, it's crazy. Obviously, so many got the boot simply because they refused this, and this illegal order, this criminal order. And it blows my freaking mind as to
Yeah.
how bad some people have gotten it. And the reality of it is, man, if you would have caved to that thing, who knows? You may be a different person. You may, in fact, be fighting for your life. You may, in fact, even be dead. As we know, so many that caved and got that shot are. I mean, Chaplain James, horrifically, for those that haven't seen, that episode with Chaplain James, how he got pressured into it and he's fighting for his life. And when he's in those extensive care units, he saw individuals that just died in their sleep due to this shot. And the freaking military forces chalked up those deaths as suicides, depriving the families of all the benefits, and a horrific, tainted, who wants that as their mortal resume? These men were murdered and ruled as suicide. That is egregious as it gets. So it really does boil my blood, because you sign up, you serve 19 years. Let's just touch on those 19 years for a bit. There had to have been enjoyment. There had to have been a healthy sense of pride. And throughout them 19 years, were there any type of crazy situations like this, or did it only come up once you denied orders, essentially illegal orders?
Yes, yeah, not just me, right? Other people have been going through this. That COVID vaccine in mandate from the Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, that has now been proven to be unlawful due to the Supreme Court lifting the mandate in a year and a half's time, right? Due to the Liberty Council, Navy SEALs, or the lawsuit that was going on and all that stuff. But this ultimately coming from Biden and Kamala Harris, who she stated live that if Trump would have ordered the mandate, she would never get it. Like if she says stuff like that and people don't even question it. So yeah,
Interesting.
man.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry, my dog just nudged me. Lost my train of thought on that one, but real fast too. I want to show this that commanders have the primary responsibility to determine the cause of absence and to find and return the individual to military control. Because I'm on AWOL. I'm AWOL right now. I'm legit AWOL, not getting paid. They're ordering me to come back to work, and this is the AFI for AWOL, desertion and unauthorized absence, right? Like all the research all day long, every day. And not only that, like
But
there's
they're ordering you to go back to work with the same individuals with all these same issues. Why aren't they sending you to a new base? Like
because
this
Colonel
is
Jared Bergen, bro, this Bergen guy wants to keep me here, and I know he does because other first sergeants have told me that. This
right.
guy, Colonel Bergen, I'm coming for you, freaking legally, sir. I mean, you have not seen what people like me and James here are capable of legally. Like he has never seen this kind of fight. Look at this. Like I wanting to show this apprehension procedures. Commanders start investigating the case and begin apprehension efforts as soon as an unauthorized absence occurs. These efforts not only assist in returning absentees to the military sooner, they also deter others. like not so they're saying they don't want me to inspire others here, right? But this is the AFI, this is a requirement to come and
Wow.
apprehend me, and they are not. And it says military law enforcement personnel. Well, who has the authority to apprehend? NCOs, commissioned officers. They can come to my house right now and apprehend me. No one is doing it. I sent my address to him just in case no one knows. Like no one is doing it, and but yeah, dude, I would love to do a part 2 with you and go over these when we do, whenever.
Okay. Okay.
This is an unfinished business.
Well,
Absolutely.
be sure to just be smart, protect yourself legally. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, I see a lot of patriots and folks that are fighting against people that just have lost their bearing in this life, and they'll go to any lengths like to even try having someone swatted, so to speak, which would be, it's a way of literally murdering someone, knowing like, oh, they're in a place of self-defense. So just be smart, right? And protect yourself and your family. I mean, you got a newborn. It weighs on my heart to see these type of tactics being used on individuals. This isn't what you signed up for, or no one did. And it's insane to me that the perpetuating just evil that's happening due to that simple stance you took. I mean, it was elite. It's so messed up. This is criminal. This is unacceptable. And we, the American people, must get behind this and put an end to basically the corrupt power structure. We can't allow this type of situations to perpetuate or ever continue again. People seriously wonder why our recruiters are having issues. We've had a deficit now, and we're borderlining draft status due to like no one wants to go into this woke, broken down, tyrannical military infrastructure.
Yeah.
The writing's on the wall as to why, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
So we got to
Absolutely.
fix this, America.
Yeah.
We got to fix this. I'm just flabbergasted. I don't know what words to accumulate and say to really light that fire. My jaw is on the freaking floor, Lance. Anything we can do to help your situation expose. I know we went over a lot. I know you have a lot more specifics that just it continues. It just continues and situation after situation. But you seem to really have gathered the information and done your due diligence, which is, I mean, what more can you do other than really share your story? So I hope that the listeners on this very episode blow this up to an extent where you just gain more and more opportunities to share on bigger and bigger freaking platforms.
Yeah. Lastly, do you mind if I play this for 30 seconds? I've never played this ever. This is my commander back then, Squadron Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Vasquez. I want to hear your opinion actually after I play this for you, if you let me, of what you think. This is 3 months post my court martial, September. I was acquitted of all charges on September 13th, October, November, December, and this is December 15th. Yeah, this is 3 months, okay? And this is what he tells my therapist about my court martial, and here it is.
So I just explain the context, right?
Yeah, no, and I understand that, but with all due respect, I mean, I think the situation is kind of different, you know.
Hold on, sorry.
It's kind of a different circumstance, considering that, you know, he was put under investigation, or, you know, if I'm not understanding, it was by you, one of, you know, and he has to work directly under you. And that creates this kind of dynamic unless this is, I mean, have other service members gone through this?
Yeah.
No? Yeah.
I mean, I understand that, right? But that is the consequences of the decisions that he made, right? I understand that during his court martial, he was found not guilty, right? But what the judge decided, her reasoning, that is nowhere. I don't know what was the reasoning. It could have been, hey, counsel deserves another opportunity. So, hey, maybe that's why he said he's not guilty. I don't know, right? Like, there's no records. We do not get access to anything, any of the reasoning that the judge had. The reason why he's in the position that he's at is based on the consequences of his decisions, right? So, and then there's a mental health piece to it, right? Like, this whole treatment piece that he's getting now is what we've been trying to push him towards for more than a year. But finally, he decided to listen, right? And follow the process that I've been trying to explain to him. Hey, man, you want an MED? Follow the process, do your appointments, but you do have to come to work. So I guess I do have a couple of questions, right? But at first, I wanted to get everything you have for me, right? Like, in the last weeks, like, is he better? Is he not? I don't know if I can get because he did get a CDE.
Okay, yeah, dude, everything he's saying are just straight lies, dude. I didn't get no CDE. It wasn't, I'm not low risk because of him. Legit, blatant lies. I don't know if he believes them or if he's just, dude, I don't know. And then, I don't know. No one stops him. This is a squadron commander, which is very low in rank compared to a group commander and especially a wing commander. No one stops him. And due to what he's done, it's now in the wing commander's purview. Like, dude, this is so crazy. This is why I want to be rearrested. Bring me back to a trial. That's where I can really be defended, you know, and this stuff be exposed. But it doesn't look like I'm going to be arrested, man. He's just going to cut my pay. I don't know when they're going to reinstate my pay. This is just wild, man. I don't know.
Oh
yeah,
my
man,
gosh.
all I got. That's all I got for today's episode. Absolutely.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Well,
Again, yeah. Oh, man. It's just so much stuff, man.
I wish there was, other than getting this message out, I don't know really any other more important call to action. So I just pray that we covered things in a way that weighs on civilians' hearts, understanding that, I mean, I can see it in your eyes, Lance. This has been a horrific experience. It truly has. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. And it is unacceptable and it's egregious. We must get behind and support you in all of this. and all of our other warriors, everything John's doing on the Forgotten Soldiers, we got to blast that podcast too and just get it out there, because he's having so many voices come out, so many of our good men that got the boot, got pressure, there's just too much to even go over. Like it's mind blowing, but one conversation at a time, one step at a time. Let's set down our selfish things for a moment and just do what we can to get these stories out. But I want to just take a second. Hey, thank you, Lance, for joining Unmuzzled Chat today. We are truly honored to have you on, and I look forward to a chat in the future. But with that being said, let me do a quick sign off. Listeners, thank you so much for your support, your shares, your likes, your comments. If you got any questions for Lance, if you got any input, even prayers, just drop them in the comments below. Be sure to check the links added into this very episode. If you really want the in-depth dive, there's 7+ hours on the Forgotten Soldiers where Lance really dives into the specifics. Be sure to support our affiliations. Check out Patriot Mobile. They are the only Christian conservative mobile network. Stop funding our enemies. Get a layer of protection and security. You could click that link below as well, or simply call them, use the promo code Unmuzzled. They'll waive fees and take care of you. Be sure to prepare yourself as information is getting out there and the floodgates are truly opening. I do believe that is a grave threat to evil, and they may try shutting it all down. One of the gravest threats I foresee is the EMP. So click the EMP shield link below. Do the research. Do your own research. The Keystone compliance testing was very thorough and very successful. These products will ensure your vehicles, your homes, your solar investments will be protected. Minimally, get one vehicle per family so you don't entirely lose mobility. I view it as the best bang for buck preparation you can do. And we're still receiving $50 off every single product through them. With that, gosh, please share this message. Our warriors, our heroes deserve their voice to be heard. After all, they put everything on the line on behalf of our freedoms for our country. And no soldier should question what were they serving? Who are they serving? So it's time to root out corruption. We got so much blessed opportunity right now. And I know with God by our side, we can achieve great things with the time we're blessed with. We are gifted today in this life. With that being said, God bless you. God bless America. Until next time, take care.
Peace.